Have you ever noticed that as we grow older, life sometimes feels heavier, not because the days are longer, but because we're carrying habits, worries, and thoughts that no longer serve us? I've been there. I remember waking up in the morning, feeling a little more tired than the day before, and realizing that a lot of it wasn't just my age, it was all the mental baggage I had been holding onto for decades. Over time, I started noticing something remarkable. When I stopped doing certain things, life suddenly felt lighter, calmer, and even joyful in ways I hadn't expected. Today, I want to share with you 5 things I stopped doing, and how letting go of them completely transformed my life. Let's start with the first one. I stopped worrying about what other people thought of me. This was harder than it sounds because for most of our lives, we're conditioned to care about approval, whether it's from family, friends, or even strangers. But I noticed that the older I got, the more exhausting it became. I was constantly trying to meet expectations, trying to appear a certain way, and it was draining. One day, I just decided, I'm done. I started focusing on what felt right for me, not what I thought everyone else wanted. The change was immediate. Suddenly, I had more mental energy, more peace, and a sense of freedom I hadn't realized I was missing. I wasn't rude or careless, I just stopped bending my life around the opinions of others. And the beauty of it? People respect authenticity far more than a carefully constructed image. The second thing I stopped doing was holding on to grudges. I spent too many years letting small annoyances or even deep hurts linger in my mind. I replayed arguments, remembered the unfairness of situations, and carried resentment like it was part of me. But resentment doesn't protect us, it only weighs us down. I realized that forgiving, whether or not the other person asked for it, was like lifting a heavy backpack off my shoulders. I didn't need to forget or justify what happened, but I did need to let go. The moment I forgave and released, life became brighter. I could enjoy my relationships more fully, and even simple things like a quiet morning or a cup of coffee felt lighter and sweeter. Next, I stopped overcommitting myself. For years, I was always saying yes, helping family, attending every social event, volunteering, joining groups, trying to stay busy. Don't get me wrong, staying active is wonderful, but I realized there was a difference between meaningful engagement and stretching myself thin. Saying no wasn't selfish, it was self-care. By giving myself permission to decline, I had more energy for the things that truly mattered: time with loved ones, quiet reflection, hobbies I enjoyed. Suddenly, my days had space again. I wasn't just moving through life, I was living it intentionally. Another major shift came when I stopped complaining constantly. I didn't even realize how much of my time and energy was spent on complaints. Whether it was the weather, the news, or aches and pains, I would grumble endlessly. One day, I decided to change that. I didn't ignore reality, I acknowledged it, but I chose not to dwell in negativity. I replaced complaints with gratitude, even for small things: a sunny morning, a friendly smile, a call from a family member. This tiny shift changed everything. Complaining drains energy, but gratitude energizes. Life suddenly had more color, more joy, and more purpose. Lastly, I stopped trying to control everything. Oh, I thought I was being responsible, planning carefully, managing all the details. But I realized that a huge part of my stress and anxiety came from believing I could control outcomes that were never fully in my hands. Letting go of this illusion didn't mean giving up. It meant accepting life as it is, responding thoughtfully, and doing what I can without carrying the weight of the world. And as I let go, something amazing happened. I found peace. I became calmer, more patient, and more appreciative of what each day brought, without the constant tension of trying to micromanage every aspect of my life. These first 3 changes, letting go of the opinions of others, releasing grudges, and overcommitment, already made a remarkable difference. They created a sense of freedom, clarity, and space in my life that I hadn't known for decades. And even just talking about them now makes me smile because I can see how simple, yet profound, these shifts are. Life, as it turns out, isn't about doing more, it's about doing less of what drains you and more of what nourishes you. Now that we've explored the first 3 things I stopped doing, we're ready to move on to the remaining 2, which might surprise you because they're less about actions and more about mindset. These are the changes that not only improved my energy and happiness but also strengthened my relationships and my sense of purpose. And feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now let's talk about the last 2 things I stopped doing, which may not seem obvious at first, but they turned out to be some of the most powerful changes I've ever made. The 4th thing I stopped was constantly trying to please everyone. You know, that habit of saying yes when you don't really want to, or doing things just to earn approval, or avoiding conflict at all costs. For decades, I thought this was being kind, being thoughtful, or being a good person. But I learned the hard way that constantly bending yourself for others comes at the expense of your own happiness. When I finally decided to stop trying to please everyone, something wonderful happened. I didn't become selfish, I became clear about my own values, needs, and limits. I started saying no when it mattered, and yes when it truly aligned with my heart. Relationships became more authentic because I was showing up as myself, not as a version of me designed to make others comfortable. People respected me more, and ironically, I found I had more meaningful connections than I ever did when I was trying so hard to be liked. It was a liberating realization. Life is too short to spend it constantly trying to meet someone else's expectations. The 5th and final thing I stopped doing, and perhaps the most surprising, was overthinking every decision and obsessing about the past. For years, I replayed old conversations, regretted past mistakes, and worried endlessly about what might happen. It was exhausting. My mind was crowded, and I couldn't fully enjoy the present moment because I was trapped in what-ifs and should-haves. One evening, I made a conscious decision to step back and simply accept that some things are outside my control. I stopped mentally rewriting the past or predicting the future. Instead, I focused on what I could do right now, today. The effect was immediate. I slept better, I felt lighter, and I was more engaged in the little joys of daily life, watching birds in the morning, talking to a neighbor, reading a book, or sharing laughter with family. Overthinking had stolen so much of my energy, and letting go of it gave me freedom I didn't think was possible at my age. It's a lesson I wish I had learned decades earlier, but I'm grateful I discovered it now, and I want to share it with you so you don't have to wait as long. These last 2 changes, stopping the need to please everyone and letting go of overthinking, tied everything together. They created a life that felt peaceful, purposeful, and filled with authentic joy. I realized that happiness doesn't come from constantly doing more, achieving more, or controlling more. Happiness comes from knowing yourself, setting boundaries, letting go of what doesn't serve you, and fully embracing the present moment. The most important thing I've learned from all 5 of these changes is that it's never too late to make shifts in your life. Even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, letting go of habits, thoughts, or routines that drain your energy can lead to profound transformation. It doesn't require huge gestures or monumental effort. Often, the simplest decisions, like choosing not to carry a grudge, not to overcommit, or not to overthink, have the most powerful impact. I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow morning with a little less mental clutter, a little less pressure to meet expectations, and a little more space for what really matters. How would that feel? For me, it felt like breathing fresh air for the first time in years. I could focus on relationships that mattered, on activities that brought me joy, and on living each day with intention rather than obligation. By now, you might be thinking about the habits, thoughts, or routines in your own life that no longer serve you. Maybe it's worrying about the past, holding on to resentment, or feeling the need to please everyone. I want you to know that you have the power to let go, and the moment you do, life can feel lighter almost immediately. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking small steps toward a more peaceful and fulfilling life, one choice at a time. These 5 things I stopped doing, worrying about others' opinions, holding grudges, overcommitting, trying to please everyone, and overthinking, taught me a valuable lesson. we carry invisible weight every day, and only we can decide to put it down. And when we do, the world opens up in ways we might have forgotten were possible. Next, we'll explore how these changes don't just affect your mood or energy, they ripple into your relationships, your health, and even the way you see yourself. You'll see that letting go isn't just an act of self-care, it's a way to reclaim joy, peace, and purpose in a life that can sometimes feel overwhelming. Now that we've walked through all 5 things I stopped doing, it's time to look at the bigger picture and what these changes really mean for your life. It's easy to think that letting go of old habits or negative patterns is just about feeling a little better day to day, but the truth is, these choices reach much deeper than that. They shape the way you approach every moment, every relationship, and every opportunity that comes your way. When I stopped worrying about others' opinions, I discovered the freedom to pursue the things that genuinely brought me joy. I didn't need validation from everyone around me to feel worthy. Instead, I focused on the people and activities that mattered most. And the funny thing is, when you live authentically, the right people naturally gravitate toward you. You form deeper, more meaningful connections because there's no pretense, just honesty, openness, and mutual respect. When I let go of holding grudges, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known for decades. Carrying anger or resentment is like holding a heavy stone in your chest. It weighs you down and limits your energy. Once I released that stone, I had more energy for laughter, for hobbies, for friends, and for family. Life felt lighter, more enjoyable, and yes, happier. By stopping overcommitment and saying no when necessary, I reclaimed my time. Suddenly, days weren't crowded with endless obligations. I could enjoy my morning coffee without rushing, go for walks that nourished my body and mind, and spend evenings reading or simply reflecting. It's incredible how much better life feels when you honor your own time and priorities. The 2 final changes, stopping the need to please everyone and letting go of overthinking, were equally transformative. I began to trust my instincts and my judgment, and I stopped second-guessing every choice or replaying past mistakes in my head. That mental freedom allowed me to fully embrace the present, to notice the small joys, and to truly appreciate the life I have right now. I want to remind you, and this is so important, it's never too late to make these changes. Even if you've lived decades in certain habits, you can start shifting your life today. It doesn't require drastic measures, just awareness, a willingness to try something new, and patience with yourself. Each small step, each moment you choose differently, builds momentum. The compound effect is powerful, and before long, you'll notice your life feeling lighter, brighter, and more fulfilling. Think about your own life for a moment. Are there habits, thoughts, or patterns that drain you? Are you carrying unnecessary weight, worry, resentment, overcommitment, or the need to please everyone? Imagine putting those down, even just a little at a time. How would your days feel if you woke up with more energy, more peace, and more clarity about what matters? That's what I experienced, and it's what's possible for you too. The beauty of these 5 things I stopped doing is that they didn't just improve my mood, they improved my relationships, my health, and even my outlook on life. I'm more patient, more present, and more grateful than I've ever been. I've discovered that life doesn't have to be complicated to be joyful. Sometimes, the simplest decisions, like letting go, saying no, or forgiving, have the most profound impact. If there's one takeaway I hope you carry from this video, it's this: your happiness is in your hands. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change, for people to act differently, or for some big event to make your life better. You can start today, with one small choice, one habit shifted, one negative thought released. And as you do, you'll begin to notice the ripple effects: peace, clarity, joy, and freedom spreading into every corner of your life. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 things resonates most with you? Are there habits you've been holding onto that you're ready to release? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I genuinely read every one and love seeing how others are taking steps toward a lighter, happier life. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more insights on living your best life after 60, 70, or even 80. Together, we can explore practical ways to live with intention, joy, and purpose, no matter our age. Here's to choosing peace over pressure, authenticity over approval, and joy over unnecessary stress. Here's to living fully, freely, and happily, starting right now, today. Life is too precious to spend it weighed down by things that no longer serve you. Embrace the freedom, and let your best years truly shine.